Hey Bulldogs, Chris Bryant here with a new CCNA 200-125 Video Boot Camp for you. One of my favorite labs, the VLAN that wouldn't die. And those of you working on your CCNT exam, you need to see this as well. And we're going to jump right into the lab here. And we're going to use one single switch for today's lab. That's all we need, and plenty of great info here. And speaking of info, remind me what two commands I could use at this point to look at all of the VLAN information that this switch has, as far as port membership and that kind of thing. We have two different ways we could look at it. We could look at show VLAN and show VLAN brief. And while we're here, let's compare the output of these two commands. Now I make the font as large as I can for you, so we're going to have a few numbers off, but you see all the ports on the switch belong to our default VLAN, VLAN 1. We also have some non-default VLANs that I created off camera, 10, 20, and 30. And then our other 4 default VLANs are down here at the bottom. It's a really good idea to have those numbers memorized. It's 1 and then 1002 through 1005, and those VLANs cannot be deleted. We also have some information under here about a set and then an MTU. And let's go ahead and hit the space bar here, and all kinds of extra info here about each one of those VLANs. And also there's something here about remote span VLANs, and if you don't know what those are, fine, because you don't need to know what they are yet at this point in your studies. And also something about primary and secondary down here at the bottom, and all those are empty. I'm not saying you should never use this command, but most of the information you need, if not all of it, at this point in your studies, and frankly, at the beginning of any troubleshooting, it's going to be in there with show VLAN brief. And this one gives you the port membership, all the VLANs the switch knows about, and that's it. So with this in mind, one of the great things about having a lab or a simulator is that you get to do things that you don't get to do at work very often. And let's say at this point, that I just want to go ahead and erase the entire startup configuration of the switch, and I want to get rid of my VLANs. What command do I use to get rid of the startup config? The full command is write erase. I do WRER so often that people finally say, so what does that stand for? It stands for write erase. And interesting prompt here, erasing the NVRAM file system will remove all configuration files. Continue. And the prompt, as you see, there's the first part of it, con and then firm over here. When you only have one option in the brackets, that means you can enter, just hit enter, and it's going to accept that as your answer. So I'm going to say confirm. Get a little message, actually two of them. First off, that the erase of NVRAM is complete and that the geometry of NVRAM has initialized. Unfortunately for both of us, then that's all the geometry we have in this video. So let's go ahead and do a reload. I'm going to do a no there, proceed with reload, confirm, and it's going to start the reload. And I'm going to pause the video and bring you back as soon as the switch comes all the way back up. And we're back. Now, what we're seeing here is a prompt to go into the initial configuration dialog, which is a fancy way really of saying setup mode. Now, if you're not familiar with setup mode, make sure to join me on February 28th, 2018 here on YouTube, where we'll be taking an in-depth look at setup mode. But for right now, all I want to do is tell the switch, hey, I don't want to go into that. I just want to configure it myself. So I'm going to enter N here for no, because note that I have to answer the question. The brackets have yes/no in there, so I have to say one way or the other what I want to do. I can't just hit enter, because if you just keep hitting enter here, it just keeps asking the same question. So we're going to say no, and I am immediately dropped out at the prompt. And I'm just going to put a few quick lab commands on here. And also check back the next couple of days, because I'm going to be covering these commands in our command reference video series. Now, we've gotten rid of everything, and if I even run show start right now to look at the startup configuration file, it's not even there. So the erase worked beautifully, and of course I have a show run. I have a running config right now with those commands I just entered. But let's make sure those VLANs are gone, and they're still there. Why are the VLANs still there when everything else was erased with write erase? Give me about 30 seconds. We're going to come right back to that. A very quick commercial here, but I want you to know about this. It's a fantastic tool for your CCNA studies. It's my Subnetting Success Practice Exam Pack on Udemy. 150 complex subnetting questions, just like the ones you're going to see on the exam, the same formats that is, and it's presented to you in 5 separate practice exams, all for one low price. It's at bit.ly Bulldog CCNA 3, and I've got some other CCNA practice packs for you there as well at Bulldog CCNA 1 and CCNA 2 respectively. Those cover all topics, not just subnetting, but everybody wanted more subnetting practice because that's what it's all about, and I've got it there for you live on Udemy again at bit.ly Bulldog CCNA 3. Now let's head back here and see what's going on. The thing with the VLANs is that the VLAN information is kept in a file called VLAN.dat. I'm not kidding, it's actually what it's called. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. The thing is, that file is not kept in NVRAM, in our non-volatile RAM, and that's what we're emptying with the write erase command. That file is actually hiding from us, kind of, over in Flash. And yes, the timers are way off. Oops, excuse me. The timers are way off here as far as the clock. That's something else we'd have to take care of after a write erase. But here's the file that we need to get rid of if we want to initialize this switch totally, this lab switch, of course. So how do we get rid of that? Because we don't want to delete the entire flash, right? Right. So what we need to do is just do a delete VLAN.dat command and then be very careful about the answers that we give it, because there's a reason I've been pointing out those brackets to you, and you're about to see what it is. The full command here to get rid of that is delete VLAN.dat. And you notice I hit enter and it says delete file name VLAN.dat. Well, what's really easy to do here is to hit Y. And if you do that, because if you've answered a lot of these prompts and you just tend to say yes or no to everything, it's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. But watch what happens when I enter the letter Y, or even the entire word yes, and then hit enter. Now it's asking, do you want to delete this file from Flash? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'll confirm it. Error deleting Flash, yes, no such file or directory. The thing is, when I entered a word here, whoops, pardon me, when I entered a word here, it said, oh, okay, what he actually wants to do is delete the file name called yes in Flash. So that's what it's looking for, and that's where this error came from. And you'll bump into that sooner or later if you're doing a lot of lab work, and you do this pretty often. It's really easy just to hit the letter Y there, but you can't do it. And then all of a sudden you're looking at this message and saying, what do you mean no such file or directory? It's sitting right there. Yes, it is sitting right there, but we changed the name of the file that we were trying to delete. Here's how you actually do it. And I want to show you exactly another message you get. So there's delete VLAN.dat. Just hit enter right here, and then it's going to prompt you, okay, you mean from Flash? And you can just hit enter again, and it should be gone. And you can see now that it actually has disappeared. So if I do a write erase right now, and I do exactly what we did earlier, I'm going to do a reload, and I'm going to pause it again and let the reload go all the way around, and then we'll check it out and make sure those VLANs are gone. Let's see what happened. I'm being prompted to go into setup mode yet again. I'm going to say no to that, and we'll just do a quick show run right here, and we can see that everything got erased, everything, even those little lab commands I had here at the bottom. And if we do a quick show start, you'll see that there isn't one, and then when we run show VLAN brief, you'll see those VLANs are gone. So that's just what you got to watch. Just quickly summing it up here. If you want to get rid of all your VLANs on a switch, you need to get rid of that VLAN.dat file. It does not happen with a write erase. You've got to go in and delete it out of Flash, and you just got to be kind of careful about how you do that. Join me tomorrow here on YouTube. We're going to have a great video on setup mode and go into some more details with that. And after that, who knows what we'll do. So thanks for joining me here on YouTube. I'm Bryant, and I'll see you tomorrow with another CCNA Video Boot Camp.